As we continue the series in the long anticipation for the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, up next is WrestleMania 9 at Caesars Palace in Nevada in front of 16,891 fans. It took place on April 4, 1993 and marked the first time WrestleMania did not host celebrities. Gorilla Monsoon hosted it. On commentary was Jim Ross, Randy Savage, and Bobby Heenan. The event brought in an admissions gate of $1.1 million and 430,000 pay-per-view buys. The boost in pay-per-view numbers is an improvement, but the buy rate was lower than last year. Part of the boost may have been because this was the first WrestleMania that was available on Encore, a pay-per-view model that allowed a repeat of a live show. It's also due to Encore that Hulk Hogan became the WWF Champion, his idea to win it that night despite not being in the main event. This was done to provide shock value that would sell Encore and gain media attention, though most fans and talent hated it. WrestleMania 9 would go down as one of the worst WrestleManias in history, at least the worst of the Golden Era, as the new generation was yet to be declared, June 1994. The card was weak, most feuds looked mismatched, and what looked like fun at Caesars Palace was a bore that it doesn't warrant a rewatch. The big sell was the main event between WWF Champion Bret the Hitman, Hart versus Yokozuna. At the time, Bret was still playing the underdog, and it may not have been believable enough that he could beat Yokozuna, making for a poor box office sell. Rumors have it that the venue had to buy a lot tickets themselves just to sell out the show. We attempt to provide a much stronger WrestleMania card using the talent that was around at the time and one that would be worth a rewatch. 20-man Caesars Toga Battle Royal. Doink the Clown, Tito Santana, Papa Shango, Bob Backlund, Brutus Beefcake, Steve Lombardi, Jim Power, Coco Beware, Rick Martel, Jim Duggan, Virgil, Typhoon, The Mountie, Barry Horowitz, Owen Hart, Terry Taylor, Damian Demento, Raymond Rougeau, Bo Beverly, and Blake Beverly. We open up with a new gimmicky battle royal, which requires all participants to enter the ring all at once and wear a toga. The winner would be given Caesar's crown and be taken to the back on a throne. Doink is the only participant who doesn't wear a toga. Backlund manages to throw out Doink last to win it. Backlund, who jumps for joy, is praised as being a former WWF champion. As he takes his crown, another, Doink, shows up from underneath the ring and knocks him out, claiming the win, which confuses referees when they notice there are two Doinks now. Shawn Michaels, C. versus Crush for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. Instead of Tatanka, we would go with Crush, and Luna Vachon doesn't debut with Shawn. Crush made Shawn submit in a non-title match on Raw, leading to a rematch for the title. Crush dominates most of the match till Sherry appears looking like she was supporting Crush, only to poke his eyes out with her heels when the ref wasn't looking, and Shawn lands the superkick for the win. Sherry wants to get back with Shawn, as she turned face at the Rumble, but a confused Shawn doesn't know if he wants to take her back. The Steiner Brothers versus the Headshrinkers in a tag team match. We would leave this match as is, as it showcased the Steiners' capabilities. Scott gets in a Frankensteiner to pin Samu. Tatanka versus Bam Bam Bigelow in a singles match. Tatanka goes in with his undefeated streak, while Luna Vachon debuts on the side of Bigelow. Their feud began at the Rumble when Bigelow managed to throw out Tatanka and says he can end the streak. Tatanka manages to get in his finisher, but Luna breaks the count, forcing Tatanka to chase after her to the back and losing the match by countout. Bigelow boasts about ending the streak, but officials claim it's still intact as he has never lost by pinfall or submission. Hulk Hogan versus Giant Gonzalez in a singles match. Who better to face an 8-foot giant than Hulk Hogan? Hogan has faced the Ugandan Giant, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, and The Undertaker among the few giants of wrestling. In this storyline, Brutus Beefcake makes his return and faces Gonzalez on Raw, only for Gonzalez to injure Beefcake's nose. Beefcake announces that he's bringing back Hulk Hogan, who wants revenge. Harvey Whippleman says he was responsible for retiring Hulk after WrestleMania 8 and doesn't think Hogan would be stupid enough to step in the ring again to meet Gonzalez. Hogan returns on Raw and accepts the challenge. Despite being Hogan's largest opponent to date, Hogan manages to triumph in the end with a big body slam and leg drop finisher to win. Hogan here doesn't win the WWF title. The Undertaker versus Razor Ramon in a singles match. With Gonzalez going after Hulk, The story shifted where Gonzalez challenged Taker for a match after the Rumble, but instead Taker wasn't available. Ramon on the other hand mocked Taker, saying it looks like the dead man is scared of something, and claims Taker was in the building that night. Ramon would continue to mock him in the following weeks till Taker confronts him. Razor himself is frightened and tries everything to avoid him. When Taker was ready to finally face Gonzalez, Razor struck him backstage and beat him down, leading to the feud. The match at Mania ends with Taker landing the tombstone on Ramon for the win. Money Inc. C. vs. The Nasty Boys for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Instead of the Megamaniacs, the Nasty Boys, who were originally scheduled to face Money Inc. anyway, get their shot at the gold. DiBiase gets in the $1 Million Dream on Sags to retain the titles. Yokozuna vs. Kamala in a singles match. We feel it would be better to have Yokozuna continue being a monster by beating other monsters of the ring and then finally getting the title at the King of the Ring. He was close to winning the Rumble, but Kamala with the help of others managed to throw him out, leading to this feud. Yokozuna triumphs with the Banzai Drop. The Narcissist, Lex Luger vs. Mr. Perfect in a singles match. No change needed except the finish, as this was a long-term feud between Mr. Perfect and Bobby Heenan prior to the Survivor Series. It's a great way to showcase Luger as Heenan's guy to beat Perfect with a clean pin, though with the steel-plated forearm, and end that feud. Bret the Hitman, Hart, C. vs. Randy, Macho Man, Savage for the WWF Championship. Savage lost the title to Flair in September, while Bret would win it the following month. Savage managed to win the Royal Rumble for a shot at the WWF Championship. Savage confronts Bret with respect and they start a long feud with both being babyfaces. At a Raw contract signing, things really heat up when they start to get in each other's faces and get into an actual brawl. Bret and Randy go at it for a good 20 minutes, for Savage missing the elbow drop and Bret quickly turning it around for a sharpshooter to retain the title. After the match, it looked like Savage would attack Bret when he takes the WWF title away from the ref, but hands it over to Bret for WrestleMania to go off air. The aftermath. Bret faces Yokozuna at the King of the Ring and drops the strap, while Lex Luger becomes the King of the Ring and turns babyface after being struck by a jealous Lawler and manages to slam Yokozuna during the Body Slam Challenge. Savage stays on commentary. Hulk Hogan doesn't wrestle again, but backs Lex Luger down the road in his campaign for a shot at the title. What did you think of this card? Stay tuned for WrestleMania 10. Comment, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching In the Plot.